No, you're not seeing double.
Well, they are now.
I mean the last video.
Yeah, Genius used power transmission values instead of chassis values.
I re-released the last video because I wanted to update a couple of the charts I put up because the current handling capacity values I used were too low. You may have used larger wire than needed for power injection.
Throwing money away.
The other part was the rule of thumb measure for calculating pixel current. It used to be that all LEDs were like 20 milliamps, so a pixel would be 60 milliamps, but I checked out Ray's store and current values are now all over the place.
So check the dadgum specs on your pixels before calculating power, otherwise you end up buying more power supplies than you need.
An extra power supply or two isn't that bad.
Yeah, but an extra 20 might tick you off a little bit.
You could probably sell them if you have too many. Something I said?
Hi, welcome to Canispader Christmas. Woo! There's a lot going on around here. I mean, nothing that's really related to these videos, but things are hopping. Now I want to give a huge thank you to DLaserDudeXD for giving a great explanation of current handling capability of wiring, and this is based on my last video. So I pulled the video because a couple of the charts in there were wrong. I went ahead and updated them, and then I reposted the video right before this one. So you're not seeing double. I did re-release that video so that it would have accurate information in it. I also got into a similar conversation on Facebook, the Facebook post that has the image on it, with Jackie, who also answered a lot of questions about that. So based on that and the post from DLaserDudeXD, I decided to go ahead and pull the video and update it. I just felt that I didn't want anybody to get confused with it. And bottom line, if you are building long strings and injecting power, do some research about properly handling the higher currents. Figure out what you need to use for your particular situation. Test it out when you build the prop. Maybe have a fire extinguisher handy. I got another question about cost. I'm new to the hobby. How much would it cost me to make a tree just like yours? I tell people to budget 50 cents per pixel. I know that sounds like a lot. You know, the pixels don't cost that much, but by the time you add the power supplies and controllers and a Pi and wire and tools and everything else, that may be about right. Now, if you have some of that stuff already, obviously the costs are going to be less. But if you have nothing, budget 50 cents per pixel. Now, if you have money left over, you can put it toward next year's purchase. I have been doing a little sequencing while it's been so hot out. I ran into a problem with the singing faces effect. I only have one sequence that I use that in, and so I've got the face on my Mega Tree, but I also wanted to put it on a couple of other props, and it wasn't working. It was just giving me the default outline. So I sent a message to Keith asking him what I was doing wrong, and he said, well, go ahead. I'll show you. Alright, here's the deal. So I've got the phonemes broken out up here. I have the faces effect here. On the tree, it's working just fine. If you look at the parameters down here, face definition is the singing snowman, so that one works just fine. I was having a problem with these, where these are more matrices. I was not able to assign the face to that. So I have another one up here. This is on a floodlight, but this will demonstrate the problem. Down here, and this is what I was seeing on these three, you can't select anything. Default was the only one. That's what I was asking Keith about, and he asked me if I had assigned faces to the model, and I said, well, no, that's probably the problem. So if you go back to the model, and what was I doing? The flood. So this is where you have to assign the faces. And so what I did was just import from the model that already had it, which was the tree. And there we go. So Keith, thanks for the help. You the man. Now, speaking of hot weather, at exactly the same time that I originally released the last video, it was 5 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was talking to my wife, and we did have, clouds in the area. All of a sudden, we hear this torrential rain start outside. Now, we're pretty excited because all the grass is just burnt to a crisp, and all the trees are, they're all thirsty and everything. We haven't had rain in a long time, and it's been very hot, so it was great to get some rain. About 10 seconds into this nice rain, we hear and the power went out. Now, I reported the outage to my power company, and they gave me a 3-hour window for resolution. Okay? No power for 3 hours. Now, I do have a commercial UPS for my computers, but it wasn't going to last 3 hours. An hour tops at the current load. Then I thought, oh, well, I have something for just this situation. So I got real excited. I ran outside, grabbed a huge extension cord, very heavy duty extension cord, plugged in the UPS and ran it out to my power wall. I'm feeling pretty proud of myself now. My wife, now sitting in the dark, wanted to watch television. And I have learned that it is very important to keep her happy. I said, well, I think I got you covered here. Another extension cord from the UPS now to her television set, and she is happy. Also plugged in a fan. So she's happy. All the critical loads are now taken care of. I didn't worry about the fridge too much because, as long as you keep the doors closed, it'll keep things cool for a while. So about 2.5 hours after I had initially reported the outage, I get another text saying it would be an additional 3.5 hours before they could even dispatch a crew. And I took a look at the Batrium and thought, if they extend this further, I should probably top the battery off while I still can. So, more extension cords, and the generator fired right up on my propane conversion. The batteries are topping off, my wife is happy, and I'm excited. I get to test all this stuff out. 9 p.m. rolls around, and to avoid ticking off the neighbors that don't have power, I decided to go ahead and shut the generator off. The battery wasn't fully charged, but it was good enough to get us through the night if we needed. Around 11:15, I get a text message that a crew has been dispatched, and saw a truck down the street about 11:30 p.m. Power was restored shortly after that. So I packed up the extension cords and went to bed. Now the power wall never went below 70%, and this was for about 2 minutes of some really good rain. The grass is still mostly dead. The next day I was working from home, and around noon, thunder, rain. Extension cords, and then get back to work. The battery was still a little low from, last night's adventure. I didn't charge it all the way up, but there was enough in there to ride this one out, I felt. So a tree branch was close to the transformer. The rain completed the circuit and then blew the fuse out. This time they trimmed the tree branch back before changing out the fuse. The grass is still mostly dead. Troy sent me a couple of these sphere prototypes that he's working on as kind of thanks for teaching him about pixels through the videos. I did order some pixels for these from Ken at Wired Watts, so waiting on those to get here, and then I'll go ahead and populate this. I'll do a video on this, but I did start playing with it in X-Lights. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm also working on a remote prop for this year. I think I have enough pixels if I can cannibalize the
Staff of Zartok.
So I won't have to buy any pixels for that. I plan on using a remote FPP instance, so I'll go through all of that in the build video. Now, to replace those props, I am working on something else, and I'll show you that build once I get that done. Hopefully it will be something pretty simple. I'm still kind of tossing ideas around for that, and I need to build a prototype or two. Look, they worked fine, but 600 pixels seemed a bit much for those. So I'm going with for a similar look with much fewer pixels. As I mentioned before, we're close to getting a break in the heat. It still gets hot during the day, but I think it's starting to cool off faster at night. At least it seems so when I go take the dogs walking. So hopefully we'll get some cool weather here soon. So I'm hoping that leads to me actually getting some props done. I have been doing some work on it, but just nothing is finished that I could show you yet. So that's why there's been no video. I might actually start setting some of the props up early this year. Maybe run a Halloween palette butterfly effect over everything. Who knows? I know, kind of all over the place with this one. Mainly it was just to say I re-uploaded the last video. Here's why. And then fill you in on some other, questions that had been asked over the last couple of weeks and kind of how things are progressing. So I should have some good videos coming out soon. If you have any questions, you can leave them below. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Oh, and this is version 2 of this video. I forgot to plug the microphone in the first time. Now I shot an email. So I got 6 of these, and so I got 5 of these when I started relaxing a little bit, and then BAM!